Hey, it's Jonathan McGinley, the owner and founder of Intentional Man, an organization that exists to inspire and equip men to live intentionally, pursue God-sized goals, and build lives of significance. Recently, I had the privilege of going on a mission trip to Guatemala, and I went with 13 other members of our church to work with another church in San Pedro, Guatemala, and we worked on a water initiative in their city. And there was a moment on this trip that has just really stuck with me ever since that I wanted to share with you today. And a group of us got to do some home visits one afternoon where we took some food, water, and other just essentials in a bag to some families in the community. And all of the families that we visited were in extremely difficult living situations. But there was one couple in particular that lived in some of the worst conditions that I've ever experienced, that I've ever seen. And it was actually our first visit of the afternoon. So we're walking there, we're all in good spirits, we're joking as a team as we approached the house. But once we got inside, it was an experience that I'll never forget. And inside, we met an older couple who lived in a tiny room that was no bigger than the size of most of our bathrooms, really. And they were cooking some food on an open wood fire stove, so the whole place was filled with smoke. It was really hot in there. It was hard to breathe, so much so where I didn't even know if it was safe for our team to go inside, but I saw that this couple lived there and dealt with these conditions every day, so I knew we couldn't complain. I knew we had to just go in there and love and serve them. And in this house, the walls, it was just a bunch of boards propped up, kind of making the walls, not even fully solid walls. And the roof was just metal sheets. That was all it was. And when we handed the lady the food, when we walked in, we handed her the food, she just immediately started crying. And as she looked each one of us deep in the eyes with just intense gratitude. And she was speaking in her own native Mayan language, but we knew she was just saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, over and over. And we asked some questions through our translator and really learned more about their story. Then we asked if we could pray for them and if they had any specific prayer requests. And the lady, she told me, she said that as she was walking to church the other day, she fell and injured her arm. And so she was asking us that we would pray for healing. And then she also asked that we would pray that God would just provide them with food. She said every day they couldn't find food. They needed God to come through. She said they would ask God for food every single day. And that day, God provided by sending us to bring them the eggs and the other items and things that we brought. So it was a really humbling experience to be an answer to somebody's prayer in such a simple way. But as I started to pray, both of them, the man and the woman, just immediately joined in the prayer in their native tongue. And you could feel just the desperation that they prayed with. You could hear the dependency in their voices. It wasn't just any regular prayer. It was a prayer where they truly needed God to come through. And being in that room with them, we're crying out to God for healing and we're crying out to God for food. It was one of the most impactful moments of my life. And in that moment, I felt so close to God. I saw what it meant to truly put all your trust and all your hope into God, what it meant to truly need Him to come through in your life. These people, they had nothing else but to depend on God. And it made me wonder, honestly, how much I truly actually rely on God in my life. So many of my basic necessities are taken care of most of the time. And so it's easy to kind of coast through most of our days without fully putting our trust in God. And this couple, they could have blamed God for their circumstances. They could have questioned how a good God would allow them to live in these circumstances. But instead of blaming God for how bad the circumstances were, they actually pressed into God even more because of how bad their circumstances were. They knew that they needed God. All they had left was God. There was no blaming. There was only dependency. There was no doubt in their prayers. There was only faith. It wasn't just a prayer that was just kind of going through the motions. It was a prayer of all-out desperation. And in that moment, I knew that God is truly near to those in need. He's truly near to the poor and the needy. He's a provider. He's a God of hope. He's a God who cares about all people. And He's close when we actually take the time to love and serve others. As we all kind of walked away from that house visit, we were just speechless. Before we were joking, when we left, we were speechless, just trying to process what we had just witnessed. And I was filled with so many different emotions. I was feeling some anger that people live in those conditions. I felt guilt for that I have so much, and I'm often not that grateful for it. But I also knew that we had just experienced the presence of God in a way that we hadn't experienced in a long time. And as I've continued to process that moment and so many other moments on the trip, I've been deeply reminded of so many promises in Scripture that we come to know and love God more as we serve others. In Isaiah 58:10, it says, "And if you spend yourselves in behalf of the hungry and satisfy the needs of the oppressed, then your light will rise in the darkness and your night will become like the noonday." When you choose to truly give of yourself to serve others, that's where you find life. When you choose to get out of your comfort zone to help other people, that's where you truly come to know and experience God in ways you never have before. And usually when you don't experience God in the way that you were hoping, it's easy to become really self-focused, to either blame God or to just focus on all the ways that things aren't going as planned. But I think the best way to get out of a funk or to get out of a feeling of being stuck is to start actually intentionally serving other people. God is always working. He's always doing things around us. But the problem is we rarely see it because we aren't looking. Our eyes aren't open. Our ears aren't open. It's too easy to be distracted or so focused on our own lives that we just miss the opportunities every day to love and serve others that are right in front of us. And when our team actually just took a week to intentionally help other people, we all experienced God in ways we hadn't in a long time. Each day, God was speaking something to each member on the team. And we would do these debriefs every night. And it was so amazing to hear all the ways that people were being impacted, all the ways that God was working in their lives, and all the ways that he had used us to impact the lives of the others. Not because of anything special about us, but just because we made ourselves available and took the mindset of service into the week. In Jeremiah 22:6, it says, "He defended the cause of the poor and the needy, and so all went well. Is that not what it means to know me? Declares the Lord." You truly know God more deeply when you spend your life helping the poor and the needy. You know God better when you serve others. You start to know God better when you spend your life loving other people. If you're feeling stuck in life right now, if you're feeling like you don't have a passion, if you're feeling like you aren't experiencing God in your life, then I think the best place to start is to start serving other people. Go do something for somebody else in need. Take the focus off of yourself and actually put it onto others. And I was really convicted that it took a mission trip for me to be more aware of the needs of others when there's so many needs around me all the time. So what if you treated each week of your life like it was a mission trip? When you're on a mission trip, your only motivation is to love and to serve others. That's what you're there for. That's what you actually set aside time to do. And so when you're there, that's where your focus is. You're going to find opportunities everywhere to love other people and to serve people if that's where you're focusing on. So what if you had that same mindset each week? Instead of just being focused on only your own goals or your own dreams or the things that you want to accomplish that day, what if you took the mindset of being solely focused on making a difference in the lives of others as you go throughout your day? I think if we took this approach, our lives would truly shift. I think we'd start to notice ways that God has been working the whole time that we've just been too busy to see. I think we'd start to see God use our lives in ways we could never imagine. And I think we would start to know and love God in ways we hadn't before. God is near to the brokenhearted. God is near to the poor and needy. God is near to those who spend themselves and their lives loving and serving other people. So I want to go into each day with the same mindset that I had on that trip. I want to put more service and sacrifice into my everyday life. And it's not always going to look the same, obviously, as an overseas mission trip, but the attitude can be the same. So I want to encourage you and challenge you today to change your mindset each day from a self-focused mindset to an others-focused mindset. Instead of asking yourself, what can you gain in certain situations, ask yourself, what can you give? When you start to do that, I believe you're going to start to see God working and moving in your life more than you've ever known, and you're going to come to know him in a new and a deeper way. Success is just about you. Significance is about others. It's time to put more significance in our stories. Put more significance in your interactions and in each activity throughout your days. Spend yourself for others and see your life changed in the process. So I truly hope today was helpful and encouraging for you. So please, if this was impactful, share it with other people that you know. I'm really grateful that you chose to be here with me today. I really hope it was helpful. Now go live a life you're proud of by living intentionally.